The Trinitarians want to make an issue for us non-Trinitarians who believe in the text, and they call us heretics anyway, like we don't believe in the text, and we disagree with them too, because we don't think their point of view is in the text, and it's not, but we'll get to it later anyway. The sons of God are gods. That is not refutable. To refute is to refute God and Jesus. Why? Psalm 82. I said you are gods. Who's he talking to? The sons of the Most High. Who quotes that text next? Jesus does in his own defense. I said you are gods. In his judgment against the sons of the Most High, you say, accuse me of blasphemy because I call myself a god? Guess what? Sons of God are gods. That's it. It's over. Why go further unless you absolutely have to? Right, because if the sons of God are gods, and Jesus, as the word is in the beginning with the other sons of God, Job 38:7, with God their Father, then to say he's, as the word, the only begotten Son, is really not much different, if different at all, according to how Jesus responded to the Jews in John 10 by saying, I said I'm the Son of God, and you're accusing me of being a God? Okay, sons of God are gods, even if they're judged adversely. I'm a son of God. I'm not judged adversely. The one judging sent me sanctified into the world. So what's the problem? The problem was the Jews, like the Trinitarians, reject the sons of God. They blaspheme the Son of God by claiming he's not good enough for them because he's begotten. And they say, well, that can't mean a creature. How can you have a creature being honored and worshipped? Right? They love to throw that emphasis on creature. How can you? A creature? Yeah, a creature, God's creature, his creation. What he said was good. There's not one single text in any biblical text that says it's a bad thing to be a creation that is good. Trinitarians are calling good bad. We'll leave aside whether or not they call bad good, but they have rejected a begotten, created, firstborn, temporal sense, we'll get to it more in a moment, Son of God. Not good enough for them. Not good enough for them. We're a heretic because of that Son of God. We are rejected as Christians because we believe the Son of God was created, never sinned, died faithful to his Father, no matter how much pressure was put on him. And that's not good enough. There's something wrong with that in the Trinitarian stuff. It's not, it won't work for them. It doesn't matter. Begotten can't mean begotten. It can't mean it. Why? Because it doesn't mean it? No, we've shown that's a lie. Because the Trinitarian doctrine tells them they can't believe it. They're not allowed to believe it. They love to run around and tell everybody else how they're in a cult, how they have to follow their leaders and what they say. The Trinitarians are in one of the longest standing Christian cults in existence. The Trinitarians reject what the text says and qualify it over and over and over again, as you're going to see. They do it not just with begotten and claim as a creation, even though sinless and perfect, Jesus can't be accepted. So begotten can't mean created to them. It's eternal generation. Again, something not in the text. That's their only option out because they know there is no way out of monogenes, clearly, most likely, and really, in many contexts, only meaning only begotten, uniquely begotten, begotten. Trinitarians will say, okay, Greg, fine. Maybe it doesn't say eternal generation. We do believe that. We do add that to the text because, well, it's not in the text. But there's a difference, Greg. There's a difference between creating, being created, and begotten. Is that the case? No, it's not. They'll say, well, Greg, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it doesn't say eternal generation. Doesn't matter if begotten really means created. He's outside of time. This isn't happening in time, Greg. So it's eternal no matter what. Right? Wrong. He is in time. He's in the beginning. Everything is happening in Genesis 1:1 in the beginning. All those things are sequences. Time. Even if you go before the Genesis 1:1 time that the Word is in the John 1:1 beginning, you still have time. A day to God is as 1,000 years as one day. That's time. There's nothing that says he doesn't relate to time in a sequential matter based on thoughts that occur, beings that he makes manifest, spirit or other, and anything else that he does in sequence with another thing he does. That is nowhere spoken against in the Bible and everywhere presented to us as God actively creating things in sequence. And in particular, in the beginning, where the Trinitarians will try to transplant us from and outside of time, as if that they can do that, which they can't because time is not a thing you can go outside of. It's just a relationship between things that are happening so that you can see the difference in when they happen relative to each other and other objects like the sun, moon, and stars, all the stuff that are specific time markers, according to Genesis 1. And so the Trinitarians are just inventing things. And as I stated in the beginning, I didn't create this series of videos to just make it hard with Trinitarians, to engage and debate and conflict. Yeah, it's the Bible and the Trinity in conflict. There's a conflict. You know that, right, Trinitarians? You're aware there's a conflict between your doctrine and it's been going on for a long time? You know that, right? So I'm not like, this isn't a new thing I'm doing, is it to you? No, this has been a conflict going on for a long time. And the reason we can't resolve it is because your mind, what's going on up here? You see begotten, eternal generation. You see begotten, and it's meaning created outside of time. It's not just the way you're interpreting God when it's used in the Bible incorrectly, in almost every instance except for false gods, I guess. Because you don't interpret it correctly when it comes to the Father or the Son. That's obvious. We'll talk about it more in a moment. You're adding things to these texts that are making it hard. That's why things like only begotten Son and only begotten God just make people give up. Well, which is it? I don't know. Go on to the next text. Really? Why? Because if you're in the beginning with God and you're the Word or another Son of God, you're a God. It says so over and over again, not just in Psalm 82, not just in John 10, but every single time the sons of God are mentioned, because that's a Hebrew idiom, like I pointed out in my last show and in my writings long ago, and like everybody already knows, but the Trinitarians won't promote it. They know the sons of God are gods, and if they don't, does not God say they're gods? Does not Jesus say they're gods? So who cares what they think? Right? At that point, we can't get the Trinitarians to see that the sons of God are gods. Then we're not going to be able to convince them of anything. Because that's exactly what Jesus believes and used to defend himself against people who were accusing him of being something not quite the same, I believe, as what the Trinitarians say he is. But even if they were God, they don't listen. They don't listen to his response. And it's right there in the text.